let's put the question to rest. And I know it's eating you up. The question is, what's Hillary Clinton been up to, man? Will she run again in 2020? Hillary Clinton ruled out a 2020 presidential run while being interviewed by a news station and News 12 station, pledging instead to take an active role by working with the candidates in the crowded Democratic field. Yeah, so she's not going to run, but she's not going to go away. Because if the Democrats needed anything, it would be advice from someone who just lost twice in a row. Yeah, that's what I want. I want the guy that got knocked out to tell me how to fight. I want the guy who got locked up twice to tell me how to get away with the caper. That's what works. Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's the guy you want to talk to about, how to work with the gangs. Anyway, so now this was her first local interview since the midterm elections. The former First Lady and Secretary of State opened up about 2016, 2020, and beyond. She expressed deep concerns about the state of American politics today and vowed to be vocal about those concerns. Last weekend was the 54th commemorative Bloody Sunday celebration, if you will, in Selma, Alabama, at the Pettus Bridge, at the crossing of that bridge, which they do every year to commemorate that great event. Well, Hillary Clinton was there not only just to participate in the crossing, but also to speak and also to receive an award. Using her infamous Southern drawl, Hillary Clinton said this.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, and then let's get to work. Reverend Green, when those bones get up, and when that spirit is breathed into them, and they start climbing out of that valley, the first place they go is to register to vote.
Now, during her speech, where she used the inflections of great Southern accents, all this time I have tried to be a president, right?
Many of the states that previously had faced special scrutiny because of a history of racial discrimination have proposed, passed, and enforced the kind of laws that we know are turning the clock back on our country because it has successfully undermined the right to vote. And how have they done that? Well, we know. We see it. We see all of the phony obstacles to registering. We see all of the suppressive efforts at the point of registration and even the point of voting. We see the malfunctioning equipment. We see the longer lines. We see how all of this is designed to discourage, to depress, to prevent people from voting, particularly communities of color.
Every issue, and I do mean every issue that Hillary Clinton just referenced in her rant, existed within the Democratic primary in 2016. And I did not hear Hillary Clinton or any of the other brass of the Democratic Party make an issue of it. Not only did they not address it when it happened, they didn't address it afterwards during the post-mortem. So, as upset as Hillary Clinton still appears to be about irregularities in the general election, she had no problem with suppressing the vote in Arizona, New Jersey, New York, and in other states. Nevada. But she does have a point about voting rights. A hypocritical point, but a point nonetheless. So now, during her speech, Hillary Clinton brought up an important issue, the issue of voting rights. Now, back in 2013, when the Supreme Court ruled to weaken or rule out a provision of the Voting Rights Act, which gave protection to minorities in order to make sure that you were not going to be discriminated against on the basis of race. So Hillary Clinton argued that point, and to her credit, I agree that the Voting Rights Act needs as much teeth, right, as possible. So I agree with that, and when she uses as an example the Georgia race between Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp after back and forth legal battles, she's saying that that's the issue. That's an issue in Georgia. Now, this is where I have a problem. Even talking about the Georgia race and saying we need to do a better job, well, I think now that they weakened the Voting Rights Act, that could very well be true. But here's the thing. Hillary brought up Wisconsin. Now, you can bring up a lot of issues, but Wisconsin is not one of the states that I think that you should be able to bring up voting rights or the lack of voting rights as being a determining factor as to why you did not win an election. You didn't go to Wisconsin, dog. And look, I really don't want to talk about this. It's not like I'm looking like I wake up and go, ooh, I could talk about a Hillary story. I'd rather not discuss Hillary. I'm good. But she's not good. All right, so Wisconsin, all right? Clinton says, hey, we got voter suppression problems, but they're not just in Alabama and Georgia. We also have them in Wisconsin.
And I will tell you, it makes a really big difference. And it doesn't just make a difference in Alabama and Georgia. It made a difference in Wisconsin, where the best studies that have been done said somewhere between 40 and 80,000 people were turned away from the polls because of the color of their skin, because of their age, because of whatever excuse could be made up to stop a fellow American citizen from voting. So we're looking toward a new presidential election, thank goodness. But it's not going to make a difference if we don't bring the lawsuits and win them, right? If we don't register everybody the way Stacey Abrams has been doing since 2014.
Where the best studies that have been done said somewhere between 40,000 and 60,000 people were turned away from the polls because of the color of their skin, because of their age, because of whatever excuse could be made up to stop a fellow American citizen from voting. Now, there are detractors to Hillary Clinton's claims that thousands and tens of thousands of voters in Wisconsin were not allowed to vote due to color, race, or age, or whatever. They say, in fact, only about 590 folks were given provisional ballots because they did not have the proper ID. But if they responded to prove their identity, their votes did count. The Wisconsin State Journal, that's what they report. Now, I'm sure we could look and find some contradictions. What I'm saying is, what is not being argued is Hillary Clinton did not campaign in 2016 in Wisconsin. You didn't even go looking for the vote. You didn't go to Wisconsin and ask for a vote. How could you not go to an entire state at any time during the election process and look people in the eye and say, vote for me? Vote for me. You would think that would be a dereliction of duty for a presidential candidate, not to just totally discount an entire state. And then when you lose that state, just start saying, well, you know, the people could vote in Wisconsin. Now, there are a lot of voter issues in Wisconsin, I'm sure, as there are in other places. But you should have to do your due diligence and actually show up. I'm not here to relitigate the 2016 elections. We've been there, we've done that. Time to move forward. My thing is this. I'm happy that Hillary Clinton will not be running in 2020. This is good. Good. What's not so good is that she will be talking. And for some strange reason, she thinks there are people who want to listen. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so that you won't miss a single update.